House of Representatives asks foreign airlines to slash airfares. Sarah writes President Muhammadu Buhari seeking a copy of agreement with the United States. Residents roar continuous closure of 75 girls' secondary schools in Zamfara State. On business, 10 Nigerian states have GDPs bigger than that of some nations. And on the international scene, Western Australian Health reports new cases of COVID-19. And on sport, Ghana defeats Super Eagles Team B in the CAN qualifier. Hello, you're watching Standard Voice News Channel. I'm Fozi Ibrahim. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Aviation, Rep. Unoli Naji, has commended the federal government for responding to the appeal and concerns expressed by the House leadership and its Committee on Aviation by releasing more than half of trapped foreign airlines fund. Our correspondent, Rahama Ibrahim, has more.
Mr. Inaji also frowned at the insistence of some airlines to sell tickets in dollars while asking them to resign their decision. He also appealed to the airlines to bring down their fares on Nigerian routes, noting that investigations had shown that Nigerian travelers pay higher fares on international routes more than any country in Africa. Mr. Inaji also acknowledged the efforts of the Ministries of Aviation and Finance, as well as the Central Bank of Nigeria, for their roles in making the release of the funds possible. The House Committee Chairman on Aviation similarly expressed thanks to the Speaker and the leadership of the House of Representatives for always responding swiftly to the matters affecting the industry. He equally urged the International Air Transport Association and the member airlines to show understanding by rescinding some of the actions they have taken against the country. That's the report. Rahama Ibrahim, Dusara, SVTV News.
Detectives of the Lagos State Police Command have arrested a fake army captain, Andy Teddy Edwards, aged 39, for armed robbery. The state's public relations officer of the police command, Benjamin Hudiyin, confirmed this in a statement on Sunday. Mr. Benjamin said the fake soldier, who posed as a modeling agent, would invite ladies for auditioning and then rob them of their cars and valuables at gunpoint. The PPRO said he was arrested following a painstaking investigation that was launched after one of his victims reported the robbery of her Lexus car. He said further investigation led to the recovery of a Ford Edge SUV, one POS machine with 6 SIM cards, 2 pairs of military camouflage uniform, and a plate number. As the United States government plans to return over $23 million looted by the late dictator Sani Abacha, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has demanded a copy of the agreement. Our correspondent Omokoso Muhammad reports.
Last Tuesday, Nigeria and the United States reached an agreement on the return of over $23 million of the Abacha loot. 5 days after, the rights group wrote a letter to the President Muhammadu Buhari asking him to direct Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami to provide the organization with a copy of the agreement the federal government recently signed with the United States for the repatriation of $32 million stolen by late General Sani Abacha. In the letter dated August 27th and signed by Serap Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the group said its demand is based on the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act, the 1999 Constitution, as well as some international obligations Nigeria is meant to follow. Serap argued that the current administration has a responsibility to ensure transparency and accountability in how any repatriated stolen funds are spent to reduce vulnerability to corruption and mismanagement. It also asked President Buhari to provide details of the transparency and accountability mechanisms that have been put in place to ensure that the repatriated funds are not mismanaged, diverted or restolen. Umukuthum Mohammed reporting for SVTV News.
There is a significant miscalculation in determining how much Nigeria is losing in terms of oil theft because oil losses due to other factors are often lumped together as debt. Our correspondent Sumaya Dosara reports.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, who said this in a China's television program, said the losses are then blamed on security agencies' lack of effectiveness. He said there is need to understand the differences between oil theft and oil losses. The naval chief, while oil theft is siphoning crude oil from vandalized pipes into baggers, oil losses occur when there is non-production, especially during shut-ins and force majores, as the federal government does not earn the desired revenue it should. He added that the losses also occur as a result of metering errors on the operating platforms as well, but the volume of crude oil shut-ins from non-production is often added to figures of oil theft instead of declaring them as oil losses. The naval chief insisted that even if there were enough baggage, it is highly unlikely given the heightened presence of security forces in the creeks and estuaries, as well as the subsisting operations, especially targeted as this type of criminal activity. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SBTV News.
Tongues have started raging over the continued closure of 75 secondary schools in Zamfara State. This is more worrisome, especially with the UNICEF raising an alarm over the number of out-of-school children, especially girls, in the state. Our correspondent Zainab Abdulwasi reports.
Speaking with newsmen in Gusau, the state capital, on academic, Alhaji Mansur Jibo said the continued closure of the schools was a bad development. Alhaji Jibo maintained that the main reason for the state government to close the schools had been defeated as terror attacks continue in the state unabated, saying policymakers would not have allowed the schools to remain closed if at all their children were involved. According to him, the closure of the schools cannot produce any beneficial result in the education sector, stressing that the action had seen many young people roaming the street, with many of them exposed to rape. Alhaji Jibo therefore called on the federal and the state government to, as a matter of urgency, design formidable strategies towards ending the problems. Zainab Abdulwasi reporting for Standard Voice Television.
The governor of Zamfara State, Honorable Bello Matawalle, has approved the termination of the appointment of Honorable Kabiru Sahabi Liman as a special advisor. This was contained in a press statement signed and issued to newsmen in Gusau, the state capital, by the state secretary to the state government, Alhaji Kabiru Balarabi. Our correspondent, Rahama Ibrahim, has more.
According to the statement, the termination followed a close monitoring exercise which revealed, amongst other things, that the special advisor is grossly incompetent to undertake the responsibilities and public trust associated with the exalted position of a special advisor. He said the monitoring exercise would be a continuous one, aimed at reinvigorating public service delivery, ensuring public trust and facilitating good governance in the state. However, the statement did not state the offense committed by the embattled special advisor. Rahama Ibrahim Dosar, SVTV News.
Troops of Operation Hadarin Daji, the police in conjunction with other security agencies, have repelled bandit attack in Zamfara State. The security forces for the attack on sighting the bandit on their large number of motorcycles with firearms coming out of the bush along Dogon Kafre village with the intent to block the ever-busy Gusau-Sokoto highway and abduct travelers. The attack was repelled Sunday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m. and the bandits were chased back to the forest. Spokesperson of the Zamfara State Police Command, SP Muhammad Shehu, confirmed the incident to newsmen. SP Shehu said the attack was failed and there was no casualty from both the security agencies and the bandit. The police appealed to the general public to always assist with useful and timely information of any attack or criminal activities for prompt response. A nutrition sector coordinator of UN agency, John Musika, said up to 5,000 children in Nigeria's northeast, however, are at risk of dying in the next few months if funding does not come true. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says 1.74 million children under the age of 5 face acute malnutrition in the area. Our correspondent Amina Kabir Saikri reports.
Aid agencies said the militant Boko Haram group and its offshoot Islamic State West African province have been fighting Nigerian security forces in the northeast for over a decade, displacing more than 2 million people and killing hundreds of others. The United Nations, OCHA, needs $1 billion this year to assist 5.5 million people, including women and children, with food aid in the 3 states of Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states. According to a press briefing, the OCHA has raised 42% of the required funds 8 months into the year. The OCHA said some international donors have shifted funding elsewhere, including Ukraine, Ethiopia and Afghanistan, which are also facing increased humanitarian needs. Amina Kabir Sarki reporting for SBTV.
The dethroned Emir of Zurmi in Zamfara State, Abubakar Atiku, has died. Late Alhaji Atiku died in a private hospital overseas following a protracted illness. A family member, Sani Zurmi, informed newsmen that the remains of the deceased were yet to be brought to Nigeria for burial. It will be recalled that the deceased was dethroned along with the Emir of Dansadao, Hussein Umar, on April 27, 2021, for allegedly aiding banditry in their respective emirates. And on business, Amina Kabir Saki has that packaged for us.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you, Fauza Ibrahim, and the business updates. Vice President Yemi Osibanjo says the gross domestic product of 10 Nigerian states are greater than that of some African nations. Mr. Osibanjo made the comment on Sunday when some Harvard Business School students visited him at the presidential villa in Abuja, maintaining that Nigeria should not be economically compared with smaller African nations. He said when they talk about the economy, Nigeria is often compared with smaller African countries. But there are 10 states in Nigeria that have bigger GDPs than those countries, saying it is a huge target market. Mr. Osibanjo said it is unfitting to compare the realities of the Nigerian economy with other small African countries. He noted that the international community must understand Nigeria's population and geography size to better grasp the enormity and complexity of her announced challenge. The Vice President also added that he values integrity, transparency and social justice, noting that he assumed office with this.
We just paid a courtesy visit to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we came with a number of classmates, friends, and also current students of Harvard Business School, and we essentially came to understand the business climate in Nigeria, professionally and also culturally. And we just had an audience with the Vice President, and it was a very remarkable session. We got to understand the different behind the scenes that happen when you make business decisions, and also got to understand how he makes, will I say, very difficult gray area decisions and some bit of his personal life also. Nigeria is currently doing a lot, although we acknowledge that there's so much more to be done, but we have to give kudos to the team that has been working effectively to ensure that business has become easier. The PEBEC office, which we know that they've done so much in terms of also ensuring that Nigeria increased on the ease of doing business rankings, and that has, will I say, made business easier generally in the country. And yes, I believe that there's so much more to be done, but we also have to give kudos to what has been done at the moment.
Incredibly excited to have the opportunity to meet with the Vice President, which is why we went all out and decided to dress the way that Nigerians dress for these events. Yes, including the hat as well. And I think overall impression about Nigeria, this is my first time in Africa. I was incredibly impressed. I think the country has so much potential. And it's not only potential, but also everything that I've seen about what's going on right now, whether it's large corporations or startups. So much is happening here and the progress is happening. And I'm so excited to, as I continue my role in the business world, post HBS in America, to watch Nigeria and see how the country continues to grow and make a difference.
That's all for business updates. I'm Aminat Kabir Sarki. Thank you for watching and keep watching Standard Voice Television.
Thank you, Amina. And on the international scene. Western Australian Health is reporting a total of 982 new COVID-19 cases, bringing to a total of 7,517 current active cases in Western Australia. The latest figure shows that there were 228 people of COVID-19 in hospitals, 6 in ICU and 2 deaths, dating back to 23 August, which were reported to Western Australian Health, a woman in her 80s and a man in his 50s. For the 982 cases, 279 were confirmed rare PCR tests. The remaining 703 were self-reported positive rapid antigen tests. A total of 2,151 PCR tests were conducted at either state-run or private pathology clinics. Western Australia has recorded 1,126,947 cases since the COVID-19 pandemic began. Scotland is working with a limited supply of the vaccines that protect against monkeypox as cases increase. Public Health Scotland said there had now been 79 laboratory confirmed cases of the disease, a rise of 10 over the past 2.5 weeks. It said the remaining smallpox vaccine doses were being administered at peak to contain cases. Most Scottish cases had London or Europe travel links and were in men who are gay, bisexual or have sex with men. More than 3,000 people had been diagnosed with monkeypox in the UK since the pandemic began in May. PHS Medical Director Dr. Nick Pinn said staff are working with colleagues across the UK to ensure additional vaccines are available and is closely following the work of the pilot site in England looking at the use of intradermal administration of the vaccine. PHS has previously said anyone with any unusual blister link rash or small number of blister link scores on any part of their body, including their genital areas, should avoid close contact with others and seek medical advice via telephone if they had any concerns. And in sports, over to Omokoso Muhammad.
Thank you, Fauzia Ibrahim. And now in sports. Ghana's Black Galaxies shot into the driving seat in their 7th African Nations Championship final qualifying fixture against Nigeria after a 2-0 win over Super Eagles B at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium on Sunday evening. After an evenly balanced first period, during which goalkeeper Adeyinka Adewale quickly redeemed himself after dropping the ball with a Ghanaian forward lurking, Daniel Barnier shot the Galaxies ahead in the 50th minute from the penalty spot as Benin Noise referee Isa Mohammed punished a Nigerian infringement in the 18th-yard box.
And the goalkeeper was sent the wrong way. First goal of the match, and it was scored by the Black Galaxies of Ghana, and that made the score. Nigeria 0, Ghana 1, and as you see, our free agents are calm and cool and collected. Penalty sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and everybody's up and running. And here we have a ball in by Ebube Duru, and it seems like Ghana got away with one right here, as you see the foul on Sadiq Abubakar right in the middle of the air.
The Super Eagles fought valiantly to get even as the game wore on, to no avail, and were then open to a sucker punch as Seydou Saraj unleashed a shot from close range that Adewale could only punch in into his own net with 4 minutes left.
That was until this moment right here. Ghana doing things, pulling strings, and this ball comes in. The goalkeeper makes a good save at first, but the player gets the rebound and puts it into the back of the net. As you see, nice interchange with the players. The ball comes in. Goalkeeper makes a blinding save, but the rebound was right there, and the goal was scored by Surah Seydou. Ball, nice cross comes in. The player who was actually subbed in made the cross, and Surah Seydou finishes it off.
The results leave the Super Eagles B with some work to do ahead of the return leg as both teams square off again at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja on Saturday evening. And that's all we have in sports updates for today. Umukuthum Mohammed saying thanks for watching. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Umukusum. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. House of Representatives asks foreign airlines to slash airfares. Sarah writes President Muhammadu Buhari seeking a copy of agreement with the United States. Residents roar continuous closure of 75 girls' secondary schools in Zamfara State. On business, 10 Nigerian states have GDPs bigger than that of some nations. And on the international scene, Western Australian Health reports new cases of COVID-19. And on sport, Ghana defeats Super Eagles Team B in the CAN qualifier. That's the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Foze Ibrahim. Do have a nice day.